afternoon, everybody. It's Maria Daniels and Stacy Price here with Business Acceleration Playbook, where we bring you the plays that you need to win in your business. And today we are talking about online presence, which is actually a pretty common topic, and actually something that I'm pretty passionate about. I like talking about anything that involves your own personal branding, and obviously showing up online is one giant aspect of that. I do want to give a quick shout out to Chanel Rose and Angela Buckley, who were unable to be here, but are amazing. And we are excited about the show next week, where we will be having a special guest come and discuss some things with us. It's going to be great. So Miss Stacy Price, you can dive in and say hello to the world.
Hey guys. And that's all I have.
That's all you have. So when we're talking online presence, I know this is actually a topic that you and I talk about quite often. It can be so overwhelming, even if you're in that space. Like, having a consulting company that specializes in marketing consulting. Obviously, online presence is a huge portion of that. Yeah. But even for professionals that are in that industry, it can be overwhelming. And I think my biggest aha within the industry was realizing that it was completely 100% okay to not show up all the places all the time. And I think that's a big, learning curve for a lot of newer business owners to figure that out. I always tell people, show up where your people are. And that may change, right? That may kind of change where your people are showing up. If you're getting a lot of traction on, I'm going to say Twitter. I don't get traction on Twitter. I forget I have Twitter. And I'm like, oh, I have Twitter. And I hurry and post something. But if you get a lot of traction on Twitter, then forget trying to show up at the other places. Stay where the traction is at that moment. And I always kind of equate the marketing world to the financial world, because it makes a lot of sense to sit and think about it like you do like the financial stock market, right? There's ups and downs and ups and downs. And it's the same exact way in the marketing world. If you're looking on the back end of everything, it ebbs and flows just like the stock market. So if you're getting a lot of traction in one place, it doesn't make sense to spread yourself so thin that you're not keeping your focus in the area where you're getting the traction. Right. Taking that same concept to the stock market, which I know you kind of like stock market stuff. I actually hate it. I just use it as a I don't like it. But I'm not in the jam. My husband's jam. He talks about it, and I go live somewhere else. But anyway, using that as the example, though, still, if you have a stock that's doing well, you're going to probably keep putting more funds into that, and you have one that keeps losing money, you're probably not going to really worry about putting funds in that. Same thing with marketing. If you're getting traction in one area, like Twitter, for example, we use that as an example. If you're getting traction on Twitter, why would you take your dollars, because time is money. Why would you take it may be physical dollars you're paying out, but also time. Why would you take that and focus on something where you're not getting any traction right now? Exactly. So it makes more sense showing up to the places that you're getting the traction and spending that time and money accordingly. And it'll fizzle. A lot of times it fizzles. It ebbs and flows. And when that happens and you start to see kind of a downtick on, the traction you're getting, that's the time where you kind of look other places, say, okay, well, this worked over here. How can I tweak this to maybe get some traction over here? So, I think for me, that was kind of the biggest, aha of trying to figure that out. And that's something that, I try to kind of do now. And it's completely okay to stop showing up in a specific area if you're getting more traction over here, because you only have so much time and so much money. So, you have to pivot accordingly.
Yeah, I was going to add, that's something that I learned early on with my show, because, I think with starting off as like a business owner, or whether you're starting a media company, whatever you're doing, a lot of people be like, oh my God, TikTok is booming. Like, this is so great. Or you got to get on like Instagram. Instagram is so great. Like, I'm getting so much engagement. But the thing is, that may be for that person. And that's what I started to learn early, because when I started my show at that time, when it was called Waist Off Podcast, I got a lot of traction on SoundCloud and Twitter. But for some reason, I felt like I had to be on everything. And that became so overwhelming to try and balance that and and try and engage with everybody. But then eventually I said, we don't even realize like some of these tools that are already there for us, which is insights. You could actually see who's engaging in your content and where, and then just talk to them. And when you do that, it'll grow. But I like that you're mentioning like how it's going to change, but you have to think about also, what are you looking for with your online presence? Are you looking just for engagement, or are you looking for conversion?
You should always be looking for conversion.
Yeah.
That's a big portion of when I talk to people. They'll be like, well, like 15,000 people seen this. I'm like, well, what did they do? How many of those people turned into dollars? Well, none of them.
Right.
Okay, well then it doesn't even matter. And it's hard for a lot of people to realize, and I guess because I'm in this industry, I kind of look at it a little differently. Mm-hmm. And we've had this conversation too. I don't care if 5 people look at my stuff. If, a certain portion of them are converting. I would rather have 5 people look at my stuff and half of them convert than 15,000 look and 0 convert. Because, right. What's the purpose? What are you doing it for? Mm-hmm. And, I've seen a lot of these accounts that are their vanity accounts. So there's nothing wrong with having a lot of people on there, a lot of traction or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's great to have the visibility. So don't think that's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But, I am saying if you're in it for a specific reason, as a business, obviously the end goal of the business is to make some dollars. So, what is the purpose behind it? What is the why? We talk about the why on all the things. The why for me is like the biggest thing I look for. I like to dig. I want to find the why of all the things. All the things. I want to know why. What's the purpose? What's the why? And it's like that even with showing up online. So, you can have amazing content, you can show up online, but what is your purpose? What's your why? What's the end game on that? Are you just wanting only visibility? And there could be good reasons to do that, like branding, for example. If you're just trying to increase the visual branding aspect and to get people to recognize, like for brand recognition, then viewership can be the goal. There's nothing wrong as long as that's a determined goal that, hey, I have 15,000 viewers. That means 15,000 set of eyes. That means we're increasing our brand recognition. That's a goal. Mm-hmm. But, if you're a super small, entrepreneur, we'll use that as an example, and you're really just needing to make the dollars, then your goal needs to be something that's going to be a conversion, that it's going to turn into dollars. Because typically really small entrepreneurs don't need to care about brand recognition as much as like a large company. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get caught up. And we've talked about on a couple of different shows that early on, a lot of us spent lots of dollars just on a lot of our own marketing materials, like branding, like I got a pen and a shirt, I got all the things, but it's like we're making $0. So it's like, does it really matter if you got your mug with your brand on it? It's like, brand recognition. What are they doing with it? They're recognizing it to spend no money. So it's like, does it really matter? So, I think the biggest thing, and I like that you gave that tip, the biggest thing is to figure out, what is your goal with it? So we can talk about online presence and the how, what, when, where, and all those things, but the why, what's your purpose with it? Are you want to just show up and, get visibility? Or you want, like, what's your goal? And for a lot of people that listen and watch the show, I would guess that the goal is going to be, figuring out how to use that to create dollars.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's what I guess my question is for you, especially with working in marketing. Like, say a small business owner is like, okay, I've never done this before. I have a website, I have a Facebook page, but I want to get more customers. Like, what would be their steps in getting to their people, to bring people into their business?
I'm really big on teaching emotional selling. That's something I've taught for a long time because, it's one of those things that we very seldom as humans, just the human race, we very seldom do what we should do. We do what we want to do, right? Right. It's like, I should, go to the gym this morning, but I really kind of just want to sit here and watch the rest of the show. You know what I mean? That's how it happens. It's just the way it goes. So, like, how do you make it something that they're doing what they want to do, but sometimes it's what they need to do. So especially if you have something that their business needs. And, we talked a lot about, I think it was last week or the week before, talked about really creating that mindset within ourselves that what we have to offer is so valuable and so important that we would be doing them a disservice if we didn't sell it to them, right? So if you've already got that kind of in your mind, that, what I have is something they need. How do you create that want around it? And that's where emotional selling comes in. And the only real way to do that successfully is you have to figure out, number one, who your people are. Who are your people?
Right.
Who are they? Right. And then, what is it again that you have to offer? And how do you connect the dots between those in a way that's going to create that want, that need? So, I think figuring out in marketing world, we talk about ideal target market, quote unquote, all the time. And, if you can figure out who those people are and what makes them tick, you can figure out what are some other things they like. What are some things we have in common? I know for me, for example, I have a few different target markets depending on what I have. Like, for example, in my wellness company, specifically, I have two basic ideal target markets that I go after. And both of those happen to be female. I do get some men that come to me, but that's not my ideal target market, right? My ideal target market is women because I can identify with them more because I'm also a woman. So ideal target market one, and I'm going to use my wellness company as an example just because it's easier for a lot of people to understand, is people that have had children. I've had 7 children. I can tell you 100% all the stuff that your body does whenever you're pregnant, whenever you have kids. And I can tell you how to kind of get control of your body again, because that's a big thing. When you're pregnant and you have children, your body becomes like a host to some other human. And a lot of times, a lot of women aren't sure how to get back. I'm not even talking about necessarily weight loss and all that kind of stuff, which, it's a portion of it. But I'm just talking about feeling like yourself again, feeling healthy again, getting your hormones in line again, getting, everything to be strong again. So that's more what I talk about. And then I have my other ideal target market, which is people that have struggled with their hormones. So, and I have experience with that as well, because I ended up with my thyroid kind of going kaput, and I was able to naturally get it back to where I was fully functioning again. So that's those are my target markets. And if you notice, as I was talking about those, I have personal experience with both of those. And so I can emotionally connect with somebody else because I've been there. I understand it. I know the struggles. I know, how you feel. I know, all the fears attached. I know, and all those are emotions, right? I know all of those emotions attached to that. And so I can really connect with people on that level when I'm talking to them from a real place. And I think that's the biggest thing when you're talking about connecting emotionally. You want to make sure it's coming from a real, authentic place. Don't be faking to be something to be able to connect with people, because they're gonna sniff it out real quick. You want to make sure it's from a place of being able to really connect with them emotionally, and for them to fully understand that you understand, right? Because we want to belong. We want somebody to acknowledge how we're feeling. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's when I'm talking about emotional selling, that's what I'm talking about. It's creating that understanding and acknowledgement of where they're at. So let's kind of take that over from. And I'm talking a long time answering your questions, so if you want to interrupt. But
go. We got pieces here. These are the puzzle pieces in the playbook. Go.
All right, so here we go. So I'm going to take it from the wellness, take it over to business for a minute.
Yeah.
It works exactly the same. So when I was talking about the wellness world, I was talking about offering solutions to a problem. I've had children and I want to get control of my body again. Number one. Number two, problem. I'm having hormone issues and I want to get control of my hormone issues naturally. So that was the problem over there. So pivot over to the business world, same thing. They have problems. So, in my, marketing world, I like to connect with several different target audiences, but my specialty is the small business because I like small businesses. And so I know a lot of their struggles. I'm also a small business owner. So again, I can emotionally connect with where they're at. I can emotionally connect with the fact that, they're probably wearing more hats than they should. I can emotionally connect with them on the fact that you have good months and then all of a sudden you have no money. There's like this ebb and flow. It's like, it's extremes of both. a lot of times. And so, I know the problems that a lot of small business owners face. And so therefore I can connect with them on that level because I've been there and I understand. So that's, again, emotionally connect. You figure out what their problem is. And if you've got a solution to that, you emotionally connect with them, I'll allow them to know that you've acknowledged where they're at. You understand from your personal experience because you've been there. And then at that point in time, you're creating this level of trust that's unlike just throwing out there this amazing whatever you got. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that ends up being something that I have found works so much better in the world of marketing. And when you're showing up online, the key is, there's Chanel. When you're showing up online, the key is to be able to connect that in a way that is still the same value, but on an online presence. So glad you made it.
Thank you. Y'all knew.
I wore blue and I was really proud of myself. I'm not going to lie.
You look great. Love the blazer. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, Stacey, welcome back, girl.
Oh my God, Chanel. I'm glad you're here. Did you get something to eat?
No, it's okay.
She's starving. I haven't eaten either. We call it fasting. When I don't have time to eat, I'm like, I'm fasting. It's all right. It just changes the mindset. I'm fasting right now.
Yeah.
Not starving. I'm fasting.
Y'all want me to go get something to eat? I'm not going to come back.
No.
I had two choices. I was like, so let's talk about commitment. Because online presence, right? I'm going to tie that saying, watch me work my magic. Y'all ready?
Oh, snap.
All right.
Okay. So when we talk about online presence, in order for you to be effective, you have to be consistent, right? And so we get all up in our head and we want it to be perfect. We want it to be just right. We want it to have this, divine, like this divine alignment. Like it just has to work, right? It has to go as planned. The reality is that most of the time things go as planned. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, whatever people say. But, being consistent is just as important as making a plan, right? And so I was like, I could go get something to eat. I could go to sleep because I'm tired. But I was like, I'm very serious about it. I don't like to cancel. And so it's just about being consistent and showing up online, even a little late, counts, right?
Yep.
Because you'll find that most people can relate to being embarrassed about being late or being frustrated about their level of consistency. And so sometimes consistency is it is important to be on time, pay your bills on time, be where you say you're going to be, but life is imperfect. Time is really not anything you can control. And so sometimes, even to the best of my ability, I don't get to do things in the time I want to, but I'm consistent. So when I can show up, in spite of the fact that is this side of my hair is doing something that is very different from whatever this side of my hair is doing. I don't know what's happening up here, but
you always look beautiful.
Thank you. But listen, this part of my hair is on a beach weekend and this was going to a church wedding. I don't know what's going on.
A church wedding?
Look at this curl. Come on.
That's a good curl. Did you curl it?
Grandmothers around the world are proud of this curl, okay?
Yeah.
But it's the only one. I didn't curl my hair. But I'm here, y'all. Because consistency is important.
Yeah.
If you want to be focused on your online presence, I promise you, showing up and being consistent and being your authentic self will sell more of whatever you're offering than your picture perfect weekend in the Maldives and Dubai and all the other fancy places that people go.
Yeah.
And
you're dropping it. I'm so glad you're saying that because I'm like, woo! Yeah, continue.
You just have to show up. And today, if y'all cannot tell, I just showed up. I didn't brush my hair. I literally door, chair, computer. Here I am.
Mic drops.
That's what you got. I guess, and that's the thing that people don't talk about. I heard Maria briefly talking about an app or something that I just missed. And I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. It's for interrupting.
No. I don't think I said that. Maybe I did. But
Nah, Maria was talking about. So what I like is because you said consistency, which is awesome. And I think people think that consistency has a look. And what I love is that you said that because Maria's speaking about how important online presence is as far as your who and your why. And as long as you show up speaking those things, that's how you're going to connect with people. And that's how you get conversion. And
Absolutely.
I'll admit, sometimes I get lost because I'll be like, yo, just put it out. Just put it out. Good is good enough. Put it out. Hear Maria in the back of my head. Just do it. Like,
done's more powerful than perfect.
Yeah, like just get it done. And then I'm like, but do we need more shading? Is it speaking to the people that I want to reach? And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Day, time, like what's going on? But I think that's the thing we because I know for myself, I get stuck in my head a lot when it comes to my business. Like you guys remember like me starting off Price Up Coaching. I'm like, yeah, I saw those numbers, like 500 people. I'm like, woohoo! And then I was like, 500 people. Oh no, we gotta go. We gotta disappear now. But the thing is, it's about, you know, if I, that's the thing is I get stuck in the thinking process. But if I focus more on who it's for and how it provides value, that's gonna kind of oversee the fear aspect of being seen for me. So it's about, I guess, a realignment in a sense to keep the online presence going and to not get so stuck in deep thought. What say you guys on that?
I think Chanel hit the nail on the head. I mean, she kind of actually came in at a good point because I briefly was talking about being authentic to be able to emotionally sell. And that's authentic. You know what I mean? And I think Chanel's right on the fact that a lot of people see these, and I'm not downing you if you got pictures of you sitting out on the beach with your laptop or whatever. I'm not downing you. I'm not saying that's bad.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that that's not my life. That's not my life. So, you know, for the longest time, I was looking at that going, gosh, I want to be successful, quote unquote, but I can't do that. And if I can't do that because I don't have, you know, the ability to physically be able to do it, is I have children, I have responsibilities, I have all the things, and that just doesn't fit with my life. And when I take a step back, that's not necessarily the life I want. I mean, yeah, I'd like to run away from my kids for maybe like a week and hide on a beach with my laptop, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But, you know, for the existence of being able to just like do that, that's not my life. I don't want it to be my life. So how do I take that idea of success and twist it with my own authentic self and push it out there? Like Chanel said, even when if it's not perfect, because it's rarely perfect. And I did the same thing you did, Stacey, for the longest time, is I'd freak out because I'm like a perfectionist. Well, I have selected OCD is what I say. I'm perfectionist on certain things. And I would just sit on it for the longest time. And finally I stopped doing that. And I actually connect with more people now that I show all the messy sides of my entire self. Yeah. Because I'm more authentic. I'm more real. I'm not trying to like say, don't look over here and all this stuff. You know, I'm more like, okay, you look over here, but it's a hot mess, you know? Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people can connect with that because, you know, they also have their areas of stuff that are great that they're like, ooh, I've been working on this, it looks so good. And there are other areas where like, this sucks, that don't look over here. So, and I think that's authentic, like Chanel was saying, which I think she looks beautiful. She always looks beautiful. My favorite part of Chanel is she comes on here like, I just look like a mess. And
yeah, and then she'll be like, oh,
she's all that's my favorite part of Chanel, but that's fine. We love you.
Self-image is important. I'm not gonna let y'all do that. You know, I did the best that I can. And like I said, this side is going to a church wedding and this side is at the beach. I mean, it is what it is, right? And it's not, I think obviously, like, I'm fine with how I look on camera, but I think my goal is to get people to not take themselves so seriously. And, you know, I was on Stacey's case a lot and I watched her taper off. And I saw something earlier today. And, you know, and she actually just said it for me.
Yeah, I have to be authentic because I know Chanel's going to call me out. I'm like, you know what? Let me say it first. This is why.
Yeah, get out in front of it like a politician. It's the smartest thing you can do. Exactly. Now I can't shock and surprise you. You've already you put yourself in a power position. I applaud that. Use that same energy for your social media, though. Don't just use it on me. Step one, like I saw this thing earlier. Stop distracting me. And I don't remember what the video was. And so please, by all means, if you've seen this video, chime in. But it said that the man said I could kill an alligator, and people were like, "What?" He said he learned that in order to kill an alligator, you wait until after they've eaten, because they're at their most weakest and they're satisfied, and they're like, relishing in the fact that their stomach is full, and so then that's when they are the weakest and they perform the least, and so that's how people are with success, right? They get a little bit of success when they haven't had any, and they just bask in it. Right. Mm-hmm. And then they operate in this feast or famine mentality. They're always looking to feast. People want to make $1 million. They want to, drive the fastest car. And, the road to your first million, I'm not a millionaire, but I've heard the road to your first million is the hardest. But a lot of people are stuffed alligators out here. Right. And so then, you go from being predator to prey. And so then people are able to then take potential clients away from you because you're so excited that you have 500 views or 500 followers that you missed the point. Mm-hmm. The point is not to just reach those first 500 people and then just abandon them. The goal is to reach those 500 people, engage them, re-engage them, support them, and then create a community. Mm-hmm. So online presence for me is all about community. I think that I have suffered in so many online spaces because they are not community centric. They don't support engagement and they don't support fellowship relationships. Mm-hmm. And I'm a relationship person. Every dollar I've ever made has come from a relationship. And it has, like politics, relationships, financial service industry, relationships, coaching, relationships. I don't make money if there's no relationship involved. And I'm not talking like long-term heartbreaking relationships. I'm saying exchanges of value. Mm-hmm. And so my online presence is built around the communities that I build, and where you find your tribe is wherever. I can't keep up with the cadence of Instagram. I've tried. I just don't want to, period. I just don't want to. So Instagram is not for me. Now, if you're an Instagram person, I use InShot for my videos. I use InShot to edit my photos. I use something called like Shaper or something. Is that what it's called? Swiper, to edit my videos and make them like have cool backgrounds. But the minutia that's required to get noticed and stay relevant on Instagram was just a cadence I couldn't perform at the time. I was unsure about who I was in social media and the difference between Facebook and Instagram, right? So let's talk about like being success drunk, because that's what Stacey is. She got success drunk and then she quit. She's sober now. So it
wasn't success drunk.
So Instagram and TikTok make for, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like, I want to make sure I use a non-sensitive word. They're like the Letterman jackets of high school. That's a safe space. That's safe. I was going to say something else, but that's safe. So they're easily recognizable, but it's really about popularity. And if you get a Letterman jacket in a high school, your popularity is just out of this world. Even if you're not like in a number one team, you still did it. And so there's this automatic level of like respect, right? And so likes are the Letterman jacket on social media. And so a lot of people try out and don't make the team. So they post, they don't get a bunch of likes. Maybe they post and don't get a lot of views. And so they leave themselves in a position to feel like failures. So they fade into the background and they don't try to perform in other ways. So if you think you're going to play high school football, you're not thinking about student government, because high school football, Letterman jacket was the goal. That's y'all on TikTok and that's y'all on Instagram, right? Well, I should say y'all, that's me on TikTok. That's me on Instagram. If you don't like my post, I'm not about to keep posting. I don't care what they say. The experts will say what they want to. I need instant gratification. And so when you come out the gate like Stacey, and you get instant gratification, you get lazy, you get complacent, you get drunk, and you start talking about something that happened 3 weeks ago.
I am so sober though.
You're not relevant anymore with your 500, whatever you got. Don't you want to be relevant?
Look, it's the constant struggle in me to be seen and then to hide because I'm seen.
Yeah, I wasn't done yet. So then For real.
This is my favorite part. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy
Because then
this.
you convince yourself that like you have these like character things that happen. The truth is you want to compete, but you're afraid to compete against yourself because besting yourself requires a level of mental toughness that you haven't explored yet because the success is foreign to you. So you're not, throwing marbles and hiding your hand. You literally are just afraid of your own self. You're afraid of your own greatness. And so you have to get accustomed to being great. And until you acknowledge the fact that you're great, you're going to continue to start.
That's
And
true.
I don't want to dismiss the fact of like the mental and emotional toll being present on social media plays. Like I want to be very clear that it is exhausting. It can be scary sometimes. It can be frustrating. And your body can have like negative responses to it, like headaches and stress. Like showing up on social media is difficult because you're literally saying, like even the paradigm, think about social media. You get likes. That's wild. Like, so you get to say 400 people liked me. And if you take yourself out of that situation, how wild is it to want 400 people to like you? Moreover, could you imagine if every day you walked around and you had 100 million people following you like Kim Kardashian?
Oh my God.
150.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine if the goal was to have 150 million people, like that's the top of the food chain, right? But that's how we convince ourselves because we know that 400 doesn't seem like a lot. But first of all, especially in this world we're in now, when's the last time you've been in a room with 400 people comfortably? Because I don't care where you are with that thing that people tell you to get. We're not doing that on this platform, but you're still in a room with 400 people. In the back of your mind, it's crossed your mind that maybe this is not going to be favorable for everybody here. So to just dismiss 400 and 500 people that may want you, need you, like you, so it's because you're drunk, right? And so you run from yourself, not fully understanding that no amount of Canva, no amount of InShot, no amount of, text line break apps, none of that will ever, ever, ever replace consistency. It'll never replace being your true self. And I guess so when people ask me, people tell me all the time, oh, you're so comfortable on camera. Am I? Like, is that what happens? Like, I think that I just like to talk a lot, often. So, like, I just prefer video. So, like, that's the first step. Decide what you like. I don't like long form posts. Let me say that differently. I understand the value of long form posts, but I like videos. And I like the videos that I like versus the ones I post are very different. I like science videos. So everybody else is watching dance videos on like internet. What was I watching earlier? This thing about somebody was taking beets and dyeing shirts. So like boiling beets and dyeing shirts. Like that kind of stuff just like really I enjoy, which would probably surprise you because you probably expect me looking at lipstick videos.
No.
But I'm very into like science and like that kind of thing. So I don't really get to compare myself to my peers very much. I do market research, but my timeline is full of sofas and science videos. And that's purposeful to me because I do believe that following people who you want to be like is important, who have a business that's important, so you can stay relevant and stay ahead of the trends. But you have to decide what you like. I prefer video. So I do post more videos than anything, but I have to make sure that I post. So every day, no matter how frustrated I am, I post something on some social media. And I've gotten really good. Like Canva is a good tool. Did you talk about Canva yet, Maria?
No, we were just we got the foundation laid on just why and how to show up, and then we were going to go into apps. So I actually think this is a good time to transition into it because there are a ton of apps out there. There are so many flipping apps,
many.
There's a lot, and it can be like overwhelming, and I get overwhelmed with a lot of it, and I just decide not to do it a lot. So it's just I'm not using this app right now because it's too much. It's not bringing. And I think that was one of the things we started to mention is you constantly have to be reassessing. Is this bringing me value, or am I just like spinning my wheels? And like you mentioned, Chanel, like TikTok and Instagram, at least for right now, wasn't bringing you value. Was it worth your time? Because time is money. And, you know, I'm constantly reassessing on, is it worth my time? If it's not worth my time, then it gets cut. Doesn't mean it's necessarily cut forever, but it's cut for now because it's not worth my time. I only have so much time. Time is money. So you cut, you know. So, and I think apps are great to be able to kind of cut down on the time that's used and be able to get a good finished product. But also, if you're not careful, you can get a case of appitis, and that's a made-up term that I just made up, but that's fine. And then you think you need all the apps because you know, more is better, right? And so you download and or buy all the apps, and I've been that person. I have recovered from appitis, and you end up getting them all, and you're not even using them. Like, I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on these apps that I'm going to use, wink wink, that I'm not using. Right. So I mean, I think we have to constantly be reevaluating and reassessing to say, okay, you know, is this bringing me value? Is this bringing me purpose? And if not, why? Is it because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing? Because that happens, you know. Or is it because it's not bringing us value and not something that we need to be doing right now? And I think that could go both ways. But with that little disclaimer, I would like to kind of talk about some of our favorite apps. I know you mentioned Canva. A lot of people like Canva. It's cheap, super user friendly, and you can do a million things with it. So a lot of people know about that one. I mean, you mentioned Chanel InShot. I have that one as well. That's a good video. It's, again, super user friendly. You do not have to be a tech expert to use it to be able to edit videos. I can't remember what other ones you mentioned that you like.
Yeah, you guys were talking about what was it? Chanel wrote about line break generator for Instagram.
Line break generator. I've got that one too.
And
so wait. We need to tell them what these are. We can't just be off apps.
What? Where you want to start?
Line break generator.
Yeah. So, well, Canva is the first one we mentioned. So let's talk about that one, and then let's flow through, because I find people all the time who don't know what Canva is. So
really,
I'm new to Canva.
Really?
Yeah. Before I met you guys, I had no idea what Canva was.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I guess I just automatically thought that everybody knew what Canva was.
Right. They don't. I find out. Okay. So from the top, you fill in your gaps. I know you have a Canva competitor. So Canva is an app that you can go in and you can make things look good. So presentations, Instagram posts, Facebook banners, flyers, anything that's like print that you would normally print, but it's digital. So it's digital copy is what they call it. And you can do everything from customize. You can upload your own fonts. You can customize fonts, color, size. You can put pictures on them. Run of the mill. The thing that makes Canva really attractive for me is they have like thousands of stock photos that because I'm a member and I pay like $10.99 a month, I think, I get unlimited access to the stock photos. And for the most part, they have excellent stock photos. I will say though, in terms of people of color, so like Black people, I'm Black, so I feel like some of the pictures of Black people they're not as many for the more popular uses. Like I was looking for, I'm the money honey. So I was looking for a picture of like women in money, and even the positions of like how they have Black women with money weren't as welcoming as they were with other races. But that being said, I would give it on a score of like 1 to 10. They do get a 7. And I actually have a bunch of other stock photo sites that I do have access to, so it's not a burden. But if you want cars, you want skylines, you want very beautiful like monochromatic looks, if you want sleekness, if you want modern, if you want vintage, like any of those like tickle your fancy, if you're looking for themed looking posts and you want them to look clean lines, symmetry looks really good, you want it to just look professional, Canva is a great way to do that. I give it a 7 because, like I said, I think the stock photos could be stronger. But if you're someone who isn't into people's faces in your post instead of your own, because a lot of people just use their own face. Right. I get tired of that. I like to switch it up. If that is the case, it gets a solid 9 out of 10 because I've never searched for anything on Canva and couldn't find it. But I do really like it. But like I said, I use faces a lot. And then there was a time when I did fundraising. So I was constantly looking for pictures of families, and I just felt like it just wasn't far enough. But also, it's not perfect. Like, they grow. I search for things. I search for money every week, it seems like. And I always find new pictures. I know. So I always find new pictures of money on there. So I do know that. Or like, what was I looking for the other day? Snowy skylines or something.
With
And,
money.
yeah, and it was like new pictures. Huh? What'd you say?
I got this visual of you just sitting back at night with your glass of wine and searching through money pictures. So this is my brain. I apologize in advance.
I mean, sometimes that is what happening. Is what's happening. I do look for things before I need them. So you're not entirely wrong. Maybe take the wine away and add in, like, I don't know, water, apple juice. But I do. I look for things before I need them, and I have like a folder where I like hoard photos that I'll use later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's smart. Thinking ahead.
Yeah. Because I need things for different reasons. And so I may not need it right now, but I'm like, oh yeah, one day I'll use this.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike the people who have, I mean, I'm still me. So I have 100,000 memes on my phone that I'm never, ever going to use. But I do have a good number of like photos I found online that I can use again. So
I feel like you and Maria have a lot of memes on your phones. Is it true?
I have a lot.
Maria?
I have an entire folder. Like, I've got mine organized on my phone. I have an entire folder for memes.
What?
I know. I'm not sorry. They made me happy.
They do. Like, it's such a good space. Do you have any thoughts about Canva, Maria?
I like Canva. Like I said earlier, it's super user friendly, which I think is great. So even if you're not a graphic designer, you can get in there and make something that looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and it's cheap, which is another great thing for small business owners. I do like it. I also use Adobe. I'm really fond of Adobe. Adobe products anyway. Like, I use Photoshop and Illustrator and all those, but Adobe Spark is another simple tool that even if you're not, trained to use Photoshop or Illustrator, that you can get in there and make something super easy. It's similar to Canva in that way. I think those are great tools that any entrepreneur should kind of test out and see which one works best for you. But they're both inexpensive, both user friendly, and you can do all types of things on there. You can create posts, you can create stories, you can create print graphics to have printed out even. It's a really great tool. Another tool I wanted to mention that I really like really well is Hashtag Expert. It's not a free app, it's a paid for app. I wanted to say it's $50 a year, I think. But it's a great way. You can actually utilize it to figure out how hashtags are trending, and it'll help you create hashtags to be able to utilize in your post to be able to increase viewership. And I'm wanting to say that I think it's $49.99 a year. I think it's $50 a year. So it's still nominal. They probably have a monthly option, but typically the annual options is way cheaper. So I typically go with that. But that's something that I use on a regular basis. It's simple. It's if you have a post, let's say it's about money for Chanel. So it's about money. So you can actually get in there and hashtag money, and it'll show you anything related to the hashtag money that comes up high on viewership. And it'll actually suggest, hashtags to you to be able to utilize, and you click those, copy them to your clipboard, and then post them on Instagram or wherever you're posting. So, it's a great tool to be able to utilize. I like that one quite well.
Yeah. So since I just started learning about Canva, what I like about it, I call it, from my world of editing, it's the garage band of of image creation, because I remember when I first started editing podcasts or learning what editing audio even was, I knew I had GarageBand already on my computer, and it's just drag, drop, whatever you want to create, you can do that with little to no experience. And you know, with also using YouTube, because that's how I taught myself everything. I call YouTube University. You could do almost pretty much anything in my mind with Canva, as well as what I love is Adobe Audition, because Adobe Audition. I'm sorry, Adobe Spark. Wrong suite.
Yeah, but there is an Adobe Audition. We have
there is Audition.
Something different. Yeah.
But that's for audio. But for visuals, I like Spark because it's literally just type in what you want, you find it, you put it there, you resize it. It makes it easy, you know, for creating content. And also what I like about it is I haven't jumped into Canva as much yet. Let me know if this is available there. But what I like about Adobe Spark is you pick what you want the content to be on, and it will automatically do the dimensions for you. I remember when Maria was telling me, she's like, all right, you know, this dimension by that dimension. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But then what you realize is different social media outlets that you use, the images need to be in different formats.
Right.
So you don't want it to be outside. So what I like about Spark is you just pick. It says Facebook, Instagram, header, footer, whatever you need. You just go boop, and it automatically does it for you, which I think is so awesome. So does Canva do that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It does.
Yeah. You can tell. So before you start your project, you tell it where you want to post it or where you want it to be. So you can do presentation size, you can do, which is similar to PowerPoint. You can do Instagram, Facebook, like the LinkedIn banner, I think. So pretty much all social media. I will give the caveat though that my free advice is once you get it, download it to your phone instead of just your computer and upload it to see if the sizing is correct, because for some reason, and this is like a drop off with any of the graphic art apps, is that you will think that you have done your due diligence and then the spacing will be off. So you have to double check for both, like check on your phone, but also check on the computer. I wish that, and this is something that exists for like lead pages and things like that, I wish that the apps had a desktop view, a tablet view, and a cell phone view so that you can see what it could possibly look like to adjust spacing instead of all the trial and error if you're not a professional. But, you know, for $10.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the biggest that would. So as far as Canva and Adobe, I utilize both. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion on both of them. Canva is better if you're trying to create like graphics. Typically, if you're somebody that's only creating graphics and posting all the time, that's all you're using it for, Canva is definitely better. It's got more templates available. It's more user-friendly than Adobe. So it's a little bit better on that end, and it's like $10 a month, like Chanel said. Adobe Spark's like, I think like $13 a month or $14, something like that. It's better for like videos, short videos, but videos or something that's going to be put on web. So that is pretty much the difference between them. But on Adobe, you can still do, you know, some graphics and stuff. It just doesn't have as much available as Canva does. Canva has a bigger selection. So, you know, one of the things, if somebody's asking me, you know, which one they should get, I typically say, well, what do you going to use it for? You know, because, you know, not everybody needs both of them like I do, because we do a lot of different things. But, you know, if you're using it primarily for posting, Canva's typically a better pick. If you're going to be doing more videos and stuff for web, then Adobe is going to be your better pick.
Roger Dodger that.
So, yeah. So, I mean, as far as the other app that I was mentioning, #expert, you can utilize that. It's a separate app. You can utilize that with posts you make on either app. So those are the #expert. It's a pay for it. Like I said, it's $50 a year. I really like it a lot though. Especially if there's different ways to research hashtags and stuff, and when we do it for bigger clients and stuff, but I'll be honest, I typically don't put that much time and effort in researching my own hashtags because nobody's paying me to do it. I'm actually paying to do it, so it's a different world. So for just little posts and stuff, it doesn't make sense to do the full, market research on hashtags. I utilize hashtag expert. If it's something we're doing, we're needing it for some big project, we might put the time and effort into it to be able to do that. But for everyday posting, it doesn't make sense. And I try to tell that to clients as well, because they'll want us to do this extensive research. And I'm like, that's going to cost a lot of money. And it's not worth it. Pay $50, get hashtag expert for your everyday post, utilize that. If you have something big that's coming up that you're going to need, in detailed market research done, fine, have us do it. But it's not even worth the cost to have us do it. I don't do it. It's just not worth the dollars and the time. So I really like it for that. If you're really trying to reach a specific target, you've got your target market, what your post is going to be about, all that kind of stuff. Hashtag expert will help you pull together some great hashtags to use on your post to kind of make your post be all that it can be. And I do want to go ahead, Chanel, since you were the one that brought it up, I have it as well. I forget to use it a lot because I forget I have it, but on the line break. So you can speak about that if you want to.
Of course. So line break makes your captions look nice, because sometimes you'll see people's captions and like the line spacing is all wonky, and especially, anyway, if you're doing a post that's more than like mic drop, right? You have some sort of story. If it's a story post, if it's a tip post, or just more than just one sentence, I will go ahead and give it a whirl. It just makes it look so neat and uniform.
I don't know if you can see this, but it's super easy. You can't see it. Okay, we can't see it, so never mind. But literally, you copy and paste it in there. It's that easy.
And now they have it so that you can make it bold and italicized. So you can pick certain words to make bold and some words to make italicized.
Oh.
So if you've ever been on Facebook,
I see what
you've seen somebody's bold or italicized caption, and you've been like, man, how do they do that? That's how. It's free. With the caveat, though, and I don't know if this is true for Facebook, but for Instagram, with special lettering, if people are searching on the app, they won't find your post because it's not in the algorithm. So you're essentially, what it identifies your words as is like symbols, like indistinguishable symbols. So it's clean.
Same as emojis.
Huh?
Same as emojis.
Right.
Yeah, if you start to search a happy face emoji, your computer will probably crash. But assuming you don't do that, so just keep that in mind. I would not do it every post.
Right.
But if you're in launch mode and you're trying to be a scroll stopper, that means like people are scrolling, they stop at your post. Playing around with italicizing and the bolding could be advantageous and might encourage people to read it more.
Got it. So what I'm gathering here with online presence, it's important, yes, to know who your who is, where they are located, and stick with that social media outlet. It is not necessary to have every single social media platform, but it is necessary to have some online presence if that is where your people are. And then these are the tools that we can use to kind of make that presence more beneficial to our conversion. Is that what I'm gathering here?
I would piggyback on that and say you should be on all social media platforms. You don't have to be active. Like there should be one that you're active on and being consistent. And, the advice that, Tony Robbins gave when I took his event a year ago, and it's been so relevant to me and changed my life, was you need social media where you have to get to know people, right? So, if you work a job for a year, you go to lunch with the same folks, you hang out with the same folks. It's just like a creature of habit. Your first week of work, you're like, hi, Maria. Hi, Chanel. Hi, Angela. And you're just like submerged and, in happiness and joy and getting to know new people. The same rules apply on social media. So like with you, I would suggest that you just get rid of your current Facebook and start over from scratch. Like if you're serious about running your business on social media, you should start from scratch. And then like, don't go adding people. And I mean like not your significant other, not your mother, not your grandmother. Like if you're serious about creating an online presence, start from scratch. And it's not because you don't like those folks. It's because you're going to get bored of seeing me posting pictures of myself every day. So you should be adding 20 people as a friend every day on Facebook at least. You should be commenting under 20. Well, I think it's add 30 people, comment under 20 posts a day. Right. And so you're not going to keep talking to the same folks. That's how you build volume. That's how you build community. That's how you make a stake in the market. And that's how you build online presence. If you've had the same Facebook since 2009, it's going to be so tough for you to start making money on Facebook because you're going to be like, oh, I forgot to call my mom back. I'm not going to post right now. Or, oh, my little brother just had an accident. I don't want my family to think I'm insensitive. Those things happen in real time. No one cares because on my Facebook that I have that's for my business, I only talk about business stuff. So in addition to being present and being consistent, you really should consider starting over from scratch and earning the right to be present in people's lives. Because if you don't, you're just going to be lazy. It's the same thing for Instagram, the same thing for LinkedIn, the same thing for TikTok. If you're serious, you have to start with a strong foundation, and that doesn't exist in the same Facebook with your friend from high school who's having a Twinkie eating contest. Like, it's a distraction. Just saying.
No, you're right. I just like
try to keep it PG.
I got a visual.
Lots of things that people doing on Facebook that you don't want to see. So just keep that in mind.
You're so right, though. No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
If you start over again, you're gonna see so much growth in yourself. Because you're gonna be like, man, there's no post on my page. This is kind of not okay. Let me say something. Let me go talk to Maria. She's always on Facebook. Like, you're going to be more inclined to socialize. Now you're just comfortable with your 400 people on TikTok who you abandoned.
I feel like you need to. I'm
going to go to the Chanel Accelerator course.
Yeah, I think you need to. That's what I was going to say. She needs to get on. She needs to get on you and make you do it. I love it.
Yeah.
If
I'm just going to sit back with.
Maria would have to come as an audience member.
That's what I was going to say. I just want to sit back and eat popcorn and watch the whole thing and enjoy it.
I would take you on as a client. I'm not really doing business clients very much anymore, like branding clients, but I believe in you. You would be my one client.
I would take up some time.
You would get so sick of me, like.
You think so? I don't think I would get sick of you. I don't.
You would get tired.
Because I would actually do what you're saying. I would fight you, but I would. You
can't fight me. I'm right. What are you gonna fight? I'm not gonna fight you when I know I'm right. We gotta.
Like I might be like, but Chanel, and you're like, ain't Chanel but nothing. Just do it. And I'm like, thanks, Chanel.
There's not very much room for all of that. Like if I know I'm right, I'm not gonna argue with you. Like who does that help? It's not gonna do that. I'll have a conversation with you, but I will not fight. If I'm right, I'm over here. I've been right. I've been telling you the same thing.
No, you are right. I know you're right.
And see, I'm still not arguing with you because I'm still right.
All right, well.
She's so deflated. She's like exhausted after just that.
But you know what? She was like this last time, and then she posted and she got fast results.
And it was. No, but you did hit the nail on the head. I am afraid of my own greatness.
Mm-hmm. Look at the camera.
Stacey,
I literally am playing with my Zen garden right now. This is the calming. Like I'm literally
I want you to be calm. I want the fire in your belly. You need to go.
Raking sand right now. Okay.
Okay. That's not. See, why are you distracting yourself? I don't want you to be distracted. I want you to be present. Being consistent is being present. You need to move that Zen garden across the room.
Why?
I just told you why.
It's like a calming.
You want me to tell you again? Okay. You need to be present and not distracted. The Zen garden is supposed to encourage you to work, not be distracted from the work. So you need to take that Zen garden. It didn't.
No.
So what are you gonna do since you're encouraged?
I'm gonna look at Damon John that I was gonna bring up.
You know he already has money, right?
No, I know, but I was gonna make a point. That how he started his business and how
go ahead. We're here.
Are you guys here for it?
Tell us so then you can actually do something that helps yourself.
Here we
Come
go.
on.
Yeah, you're right. No, but I like his story because he started off literally hustling pencils. Like, dude was hustling pencils in school, and he was doing more personal face-to-face business. And I was trying to say that online is kind of a similar thing. What he did was kind of like politicking. He found that who his people were, which is women, and he was actually personalizing the pencils for the girls. And that was a way for guys to talk to girls. So they would buy the pencils from him to be like, hey girl, you know, I got you this pencil. And they'd be like, ooh, right? But what he talks a lot about is how business has changed. It's the same thing, but different world. Like, you're still reaching out to people. You're still connecting with them. And that's even something I have to do more, which is probably your point that you're trying to make, Chanel. I used to go on Instagram and look for people in my genre doing certain things that I'm doing, or speaking to the people I'm speaking to, and go and comment on their posts. And then they would naturally come to my posts and comment. And it kept this kind of like ecosystem going. Yeah. That was great. Thanks, Chanel.
So now what are you planning to do? Because
I gotta do some online politicking.
And you know, I have nothing bad to say about him. I think he's an excellent example of rebranding and creativity and focus and consistency and perseverance. But that's not what I asked you. I asked you specifically, what were you about to do when you told me about Damon John?
I'm just gonna sit here.
That's also not helpful. Like, I want to see you win. I want you to tell us and all of our many viewers what you plan to do. You making me seem like a bully, and I'm not a bully.
No, you're not a bully. You're calling me on my stuff.
I'm not. I'm actually I want you to say what you plan to do so you have some accountability. I'm not calling you anything. I just want to know. Last time you told us you were going to post for a week, you gave us 3 days.
That wasn't 3 days.
You're right. It was 1, and then Maria had to remind you the other 2.
Okay. First of all, I did the post, but I didn't know you guys were looking for video. So I was like, darn, I got to do video now. So then I did the video, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me post on TikTok. So I posted on TikTok, and then I did that every day for a few days, and then I stopped because I got scared, and then posted elsewhere.
Did you post? Because I feel like I forgot you had social media for a while because you just didn't.
Yeah.
You weren't very active. So did you post, or did you just literally fade to blackness?
No, I didn't. I faded to gray because.
You said you think it rained?
No, I faded to gray. I literally faded to gray. Like, I posted and I was like, okay. But I will say the one thing that the goal really was to start my other show, because that is more focused on the business side of things, which is directly in relation to price up coaching. So I'm actually starting my first recording tomorrow. So there you have it. I did something that I've been delaying for months.
Also didn't answer my question.
What's your question?
I said, what are you planning to do? You talking to me? You were on like 50 shows. I don't accept the fact that it took you 5 weeks to start a show. I don't. Yeah,
but that's just I delay because I think a lot.
Okay. So I want you to tell me what you've been thinking about that you plan to do today.
Oh, today I'm going to do some politicking.
What does that mean?
Politicking means going for like-minded people on social media and connecting with them. So I'm literally going to go online and look for other shows because I have this goal to get on other shows in every state in the United States.
Okay. I don't believe you. So here's how you can have some accountability. You should create a Google spreadsheet. And you can go on Google and find a list of the 50 states and copy and paste into a Google spreadsheet, right? Then that's one column. In the next column, you can put podcasts right? And then podcast contact info. And you can start filling it in. I'm going to save you some trouble. You can go on like Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs and one of the larger Facebook groups, and you can request to post in those groups. And you can say, I'm looking to be on podcasts about business. I'm looking to be on podcasts about how to have great customer service. If you have a business podcast.
I think I invited you to that one, Stacey.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think I'm in that. That's the one that you posted in, right, Marie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm in that one.
And so you're like, if you want to do this, send message me, whatever, you know. So you cannot perform aimless action and expect to be present. Like saying you want to be in 50 podcasts in 50 states, by when? Do you want them to be women centric? Do you want them to be business centric? Is the goal to get clients? Is the goal to build brand awareness? You know, like those are the things that you have to think about. But you think so much that you get caught in like the success drunkenness, because you'll just keep telling yourself, I did this once before, I know I can do it again, I just have to figure out where. But whatever you did authentically before, just duplicate that. So I want to encourage you to not be looking for 50 podcasts to be in. I think the 2 steps should be: 1, you need a new Facebook, and then 2, you should start then going into podcast groups and going into groups where your people would be. So if that's woman centric, if that's people with natural hair, if that's people who like button up shirts, I don't care. People who like AirPods, I don't actually care. Like, it's none of my business, but those exist in excess on Facebook. And then I want you to start talking in those groups. I want you to comment and post in those groups, not aimlessly on Instagram, not aimlessly on Facebook. Like, you really need a new Facebook. If you're serious. If you're not, then go talk to Maria like you have been, because I see that too. Like, but you know, post like, go with like, I mean, I see it. I'm like, you guys are funny, but we're already in your network. We're already sold. Like, you don't need to convince us. And I would just say, like, don't even add me and Maria, because we're a giant old distraction. Start a new Facebook that doesn't include anybody in your current community. Maybe add like 3 or 4 people that you know, like, are pretty consistent posters, not friends, not close friends, and not family. And then go into those Facebook groups and type in, like, I have no idea what your target demographic is, but whatever they are, if they're mamapreneurs, so type in mamapreneur, go in those groups, and they're on there asking questions in excess. And start talking to people. And then you can, I know we have to go, but then in every Facebook group at the top, they have a little magnifying glass. You can click that and say yours is you want to talk to people about, I don't know, automations. So you can type in automations, automate, or maybe you're good at dual sabo. So you can type in dual sabo. And every post about dual sabo and LinkedIn or whatever your stake is, and some of those posts have gone viral, so you'll get 300 people who have commented. Add those people. Start having conversations with those people. That's your tribe. And you can start to build your community around those people, but you're spinning your wheels assuming that you can just talk to people aimlessly and expect for it to be reciprocated, versus like with Facebook, it's a connection. You can build a relationship. And when you talk to people on Facebook, they want to talk to you. So that's how you can create the interconnectivity and build a community of people who will invest in your genius.
Wicked.
So do what you want, but don't say no one told you.
Roger that.
I would say time flies when you're having fun, but Stacey doesn't look like she's having a lot of fun at the moment. She's been really quiet.
No, I'm absorbing. This is news.
No, I think it's great.
That I
think
need
it's
to
great.
hear.
I love watching Chanel put you in your place.
No. It's encouraging her to be great. I know
it's encouraging her to be great.
I'm not calling her BS. I'm encouraging her. She needs
potatoes.
Maria's like, you're crushing her. Sounds like I'm motivating.
No, it is good. No, it's good. It's stuff. I think we all need that. I need people to do that too. Trust me, I have people that does that too. They're like, no. I'm like, but I want no. And I need that. So I think we all need that. If we're all honest with ourselves out there as business owners, entrepreneurs, we need to be kind of, well, Chanel says encouraged, so we'll just use that, encouraged to stay on the path that we know that we need to be on. And I like the idea of you starting kind of a business version Facebook page. And that would be good. That way you can kind of start it from scratch. I know you did that with a couple of your other platforms. You can do it with Facebook as well. I like that. I think that's great. Next week, we'll be back again at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we will have a special. Did we already announce our guest?
We did. In an event post. It will be Matt Clock.
Yes, it will. So he's great. We had him speak with our KISS event, and he was great. Super funny guy, super fun to talk with. So I'm excited to have him on. I looking forward to it. And thank you, Chanel and Stacy, for being on today. I loved it. It was really great.
I know Maria had a great time.
I had a really great time today. Just loved it. So I see everybody next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.